Hello, Cherie Hanson here. It's been 22 days since I flew out of Kelowna for my fantastic European adventure. I have gone through, landed in Dublin in Ireland and went to Kilkenny to see a 14th century medieval village. And then after that, I flew to Scotland, I flew to Edinburgh, and next to Glasgow, and then to the UK to Newcastle. And after Newcastle, I flew here, which is York. I've been to York before many, many years ago. It wasn't as crowded or as under construction as it is now. Some of the things that have been happening on the trip is I find that my battery will run down if I expect too much of myself. And what I mean by too much is if I am on an agenda. In other words, if I feel like I have to complete seeing a castle or go to a museum or do this or do that, what I find is interesting to me is then it becomes just like everything else that happened when I was younger, and that it becomes a job. It becomes a feedback loop of, did you do a good job of being in Newcastle? Did you go see all of the things? And the way I've dealt with that is I've been much more gentle with myself. I go out the door and I see how I feel. I may walk and discover, like I did here, the Roundtree Park, gigantic park that's just out at the end of my block. It's just magical. It's been flooded until April because of the weather has been so severe here, cold, rain all the time. And then I got down to this park and I'm thinking how much joy and openness and space and beauty I'm feeling. Sometimes when I'm in a castle and there's a crowd of people and everybody's vying to look at whatever the thing is that we're supposed to look at, I realize how much my sense of self and my sense of the world has shifted as I've gotten to be the age I am at now. The things that have delighted me the most have been the conversations I've had with people when I'm sitting on a bench or when I'm on a bus. And I start to ask them about their world, their life experience, the way they have chosen to live and conduct themselves in the world. And it's teaching me so much about those people that you look at from the outside and you think, oh, that's just a whatever. The couple that was on the bus with me yesterday have spent their entire lives traveling. They say the longest they'll come home will be 3 or 4 days now before they get restless and go back out. They've been to the Arctic Circle, they've been to South American jungles, they've been to every country you can name, and they are in this state of exploration. So often I find that I am limiting myself because if I put myself in an environment that is strange, I don't know what to expect from it. I don't know what that coffee shop has. I don't know what's going to happen if I go down that street. I will feel anxiety. And this couple they spent 20 years teaching themselves that sense of not knowing what's going to happen is where the thrill of life is. last night, I had been really tired during the day. Um, a lot of hefting around my backpack, going upstairs, downstairs, and my body's still not 100% after the hip operation. And I was planning to walk down along the river. I knew the path there because I had seen it a couple of times. And instead, I sat under the walls of York in this park, and a breeze came along, and the trees were dancing, and the air smelled so fresh and so sweet. And I watched people go past. There was a woman who was jogging. There was a family with a stroller and a toddler and a dog. And I was sitting there thinking, this is enough. This moment is enough. I don't need to go through a checklist of experiences that I can go to someone else. And, it's kind of that game you give to kids when they're exploring a place, and you give them a passport and they get it stamped if they go to all the stations they're supposed to go to. I'm in a place where I realize that I'm learning. I realize that I'm being taught about life. And the old way of doing things, which is to pursue a list of things that then give me permission to feel good about myself, is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And so yesterday I walked around lost for 2 hours trying to find York Minster, who my ancient grandfather was the archdeacon in that cathedral. And, I was frustrated, and frustration is arising, and the frustration is always self and self. So the fact that I have trouble finding direction, the fact that I had walked for almost 2 hours and not been able to figure out where I was headed or where I was going, put me in a place where I could see very, very clearly that I'm traveling alone, and I'm the only one that I have to satisfy. I'm the only one I have to answer to. And so I turned around and went back to the place I knew that the bus would pick me up. And as I was sitting there waiting for the bus, the bells went off at York Minster. The bells were ringing and ringing and ringing, and the sun was coming down, and there was a breeze, and the trees were all moving. And I thought, well, there it is. There is exactly what you were seeking. There is a sense of beauty, of nature, of calm, of connection. And that's the big word. That's the big word for me on this trip, is connection. When we're going through a list of things that we have to see in order to give ourselves a good grade for being a tourist, what are we connecting to? Are we just making it into another job? Or am I just making an excuse for myself because I have trouble with direction, Who knows? One of the things I was thinking this morning, which made me so fascinated by myself on this discovery, is I want to go back to the cafe I had breakfast at yesterday because I liked it. And then there's this, it's just like this little troll inside me, and it pops up and it goes, no, you have to explore. You're in a strange city. You can't go back to the same cafe. What's wrong with you? And I'm going, what? You mean I can't use my basic desire and instinct, which is to make a place I am in like a home? That's what I do. I go to the park because I like the park, and I'll go back to the park. And I like the cafe because I like the people that serve in the cafe, and I like the food in the cafe. And am I giving up being adventuresome and going to chase after new experiences? And so this comes back in. This comes back in, and that is, what is it you want? Not somebody else. And somebody mentioned on Facebook, you have to go in castles because I have to see pictures of castles. And I'm thinking, but I've seen so many castles in my life, I'm really not drawn. I would rather go sit in a park and watch the way families and friends get together and connect to one another and watch the trees and feel the breeze. There it is. So I am getting better at navigating. I mean, I'm going to have been through 8 cities in 30 days and many planes, trains, buses. I'm getting much, much better. And it's breaking me down in a way because I'm in a place where I have to depend on others, something that's been very difficult for me in my life. I have, when I went to the train station in Newcastle yesterday, I saw the sign said that the train I was supposed to take was canceled. So I asked the help guy at the booth where I was supposed to go to platform 9. That's where the replacement train will be. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I don't know, there aren't that many people here. So I grabbed another person who's walking past and I said, where is the train that'll take me to York? And they said, oh, it's not here, it's over there. So I go to another platform and I ask the people there about, oh, is this going to be the train to York? And they say, no, it's not here, it's over there. And so it was a 3-stop situation. And I was watching myself as I was going through it. And I thought, I'm not feeling anxiety. I am absolutely observing how I'm becoming someone who trusts others, who asks others for help, who seeks help instead of sitting in my own confusion. And I think that's growth. And that is what I was after on this trip. Not a thrill, not, having my passport stamped that I'd seen all of these things and all of these events and therefore I had done a good job of being a tourist. It was simply about how I could expand myself, how I could get to see myself more clearly. And that has happened. It really has. So another growth thing I did was I was in just a 2 dreadful Airbnbs. I mean, they were just awful. And I ended up, the first one I turned around and left within 2 hours. And the next one I held out till the last day and then went to a motel. So for me to say to myself, you deserve better, you're going to spend money on yourself to put yourself in a better environment is new. Because my big strength in the past has been being I can put up with it. I'm tough. And I'm getting to a place where I'm like, I can't put up with it. I'm not tough. I deserve better. So these are big, big lessons. And I would say to anyone who is afraid of the world or who is suspicious of other people, that travel will resolve that tension in you. What you find when you move in the world is kindness, support, gentleness, and just amazing compassion. So there it is. I will be here for a couple more days, and then I go to Harrogate and Manchester and visit with my friend and walk in the Dales, and then back on the plane, connecting, and I will be able to pet my Todd again. So thank you very much. I hope that all of you get a chance to travel and to meet the miraculous fact that other people are full of God's light or Spirit's light or Buddha's light, whatever you want. Okay? Do get a hold of me if you would like to have a coaching session or a psychic reading. I will be back at the end of May and establishing my life again. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your subscribing, liking, and sharing my videos.